That's a good point. All right, let's move on. Talk some Draymond Green now. He made some waves yesterday on the Dubs Talk podcast. When he declared this, he said, quote, "I'm the best defender to ever play in the NBA. I'll put myself up against anyone." Twan, our resident truth teller, what'd you make of Dre's comments?
I think it's nice that he thinks very highly of himself, but he's not the best defender to ever play the game. I've played with a couple of great defenders that are much better than him, that are lockdown defenders. When I think of the Gary Paytons, the Alonzo Mournings, then Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, the Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, some of the best two-way players in the game. Then you got some guys that don't get a lot of recognition, but they're known for defense. Bruce Bowen, Tony Allen. These guys are really defenders. Draymond Green's a great off-the-ball defender. He'll put his body in front of somebody, but he's never been known as a lockdown defender. Case in point, NBA Finals, when Golden State was on their run, that dynasty run, Andre Iguodala was guarding the best wing, not Draymond Green. He didn't guard LeBron James in the finals. He didn't take on that responsibility. When you're the best defender in the world, you guard a LeBron James. You don't let Andre Iguodala guard him. So that's obviously Golden State felt like Andre Iguodala was a better defender than Draymond Green. But I like the fact that he thinks highly of himself. He's supposed to. I think he's a very good defender, a good off-the-ball defender. When you talk about the best defender to ever play the game, it's probably 15 to 20 guys that the names that goes on that list as well.
Hey, what do we know about Draymond? What do we know? Come on, sometimes he crosses the line. His emotions get the best out of him at times. But we know he's super smart and super savvy. So let's take a look at it, because it is a discussion. Let's look at the 4 greatest defenders of all time that the NBA has ever seen. We're talking about Kobe, rest in peace, the Mamba, and then we got the glove. And then, who do you have right there? You have the GOAT, Nick, 9-time first-team all-defense selections. So where does Draymond match up to them? Well, he has 3. So you're probably right, Twan. You're probably right. But that's not what this is about. What this is about is Draymond being savvy, Draymond being smart, and Draymond controlling his narrative, just like LeBron does. You don't want to vote me as MVP. You don't want to vote me as all defensive team and the defensive player of the year. What does he do? He changes the narrative. The last time Draymond Green won defensive player, was a first team all defense, was 16-17 season. So that's all he's doing is getting us talking about it. So now all the voters can say, you know what, let's pay attention to him. Maybe he's due for another one. So this is Draymond Green being savvy and being smart and making us talk about it so all the voters can pay attention.
Okay, and by the way, Draymond's been snubbed. Draymond should have, forget first team all defense, Draymond should have 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards. The 2 years he finished second to Kawhi, he should have won those awards. And I understand Antoine's point that he's not a lockdown, what he's saying, one-on-one defender, but he was the linchpin reason the Warriors were the best defense in basketball year over year. But he's still wrong. So here's the deal. With respect to first team all defense selections, don't really care about it. The 3 greatest defensive players in NBA history, and this is an inarguable list. If anyone, I just want to make it clear, I'm about to give you 3 names. If anyone disagrees with it, they're wrong. This is not opinion.
I gave you the top 4.
No.
I gave you the top 4.
Brandon,
okay,
with respect, none of those 4 made it.
Respect.
The 3 greatest defensive players ever are Bill Russell, Akeem Olajuwon, and Tim Duncan. Those are the 3 greatest defensive players ever. Now,
I thought
if
you was going
Draymond
somewhere else. I
wanted
can
to
respect
say,
that.
if Draymond wanted to say 6'8" and under category, over the last 40 years, Sidney Moncrief, Gary Payton, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, Kawhi Leonard, Draymond Green. That's not 1 through 6, that's chronological order. He is on that list, Wilds, of guys that aren't centers, because centers just can impact the game so much differently. So of the 6'8" and under category, he's in the room, but I would still take Dennis Rodman over the entire room in that category. So I don't think this is wild by Draymond. It just needed a few more qualifiers.
Sure, but if we make it these 6'9" and under, can we include Ben Wallace? because Ben Wallace is more like Draymond Green than,
Sure.
Hakeem Olajuwon.
Sure.
So I would add Ben Wallace if we make it 6'9", and it's a great thing, but Ben Wallace should be in the Hall of Fame, won 4 Defensive Player of Years. But still, good for Draymond controlling his narrative.
Thank you.
All right, let us set hoops. Back here with NBA champ Antoine Walker. Twan, we're talking Lakers this morning. They lost to the Pelicans last night. That is 3 straight losses for them. Life not so easy breezy without LeBron and AD out there, is it? So, Antoine, how far do you think the Lakers fall in the standings with their 2 superstars sidelined?
Well, unfortunately, they're gonna probably fall pretty far. They're gonna probably fall into that 7th and 8th seed. They don't have the same type of depth that they had last year. You don't have a Rajon Rondo, a guy who can create plays. And if you look at these 3 games that they've missed, they haven't had a guy really that can create plays and get shots for other guys. So they really struggle offensively. The schedule's not in their favor because now you get teams like Cleveland. They got Cleveland coming up, Sacramento, Orlando. Those 3 teams are in the mix of their 6 games. Those teams now are looking at the Lakers as now, we can beat them now. They're looking at them. So now you got these bad teams that are out there now believing that they can get a win now playing against you. So now these games become much harder. The Lakers are probably looking at an 8 to 9 game losing streak. And I don't know if they can stand with how long they can withstand without LeBron James or AD playing. They're going to probably force LeBron and AD to speed up their rehab process to get back on the court because they can really fall in. They're only 4.5 games out of the 8th spot. This thing can get really ugly fast. I don't like what they make of their team. Too many guys on the Lakers are not playing well and not playing good basketball. So this could turn into a real disaster.
So I do think they're going to, when LeBron plays again, they'll be the 7th seed. I also think the 7th seed is not going to be a problem because once LeBron comes back, I think they'll be able to move up to the 6 line. And even if they stay in the 7 line, they'd have to lose consecutive elimination games in order to not make the playoffs. And there's 0% chance of that happening with LeBron and AD back. But where I disagree with Antoine, or where I shouldn't even say I disagree, where I will be more concerned about how far they will fall is if Antoine's right about them losing to Cleveland, Orlando, and the Kings. The way I look at it, over the next month of basketball, there's 7 games the Lakers should have circled. Those 3 Antoine mentioned, and then in the next group, they have Toronto, which is a disaster right now, the Knicks, Charlotte, and Boston. Those 7 games, the 3 Antoine mentioned and the 4 I just mentioned, they've got to go at least 4-3 because against any good team, until one of their 2 stars is back, they can't win. They're not going to steal a win against Philly or Milwaukee or the Clippers, or they play back-to-back against the Mavs and back-to-back against the Jazz. They're not going to beat those teams. So I look at those 7 games and say, you got to go at least 4-3 against the bad teams. Hopefully for the Lakers, if you're a Lakers fan, 5-2. And then you're going to be right around the 6-7 line a month from now when LeBron's probably back. If Antoine's right, Brandon, and they lose to Cleveland, Orlando, and the Kings, then they absolutely could be in the 9 spot when LeBron comes back. Because if you lose to those teams, you can't really beat anybody. And I do think a lot of this is predicated, Brandon, on when Anthony Davis comes back, because I think we're going to see Anthony Davis before we see LeBron.
Yeah, that's it right there. There's two conversations here. We got to hit on both ends of the spectrum. All right. So right now in the short term, we could come back to work Monday morning talking about basketball and the Lakers be the 6th seed. They're falling, and they're falling fast. All right. We're talking about right now they're the 4th seed. And then we talk about the long term, 2018, let's go back there. They were sitting at the 4th seed, and what ended up happening? LeBron James, what did he snap his groin or something? And then they fell out of the playoffs. Never to be seen again that year. All right? So we're looking at a team that is falling fast, and now we got to look at what's going to happen at the end of the season. Because right now, Wilds, you have San Antonio at the 7th seed. You have Dallas, Nick's large stepson, whatever he calls him, Luka. They're balling now. He's finally in shape. He's playing well. You're throwing him in the MVP discussion. So now you got him there. And then you got the Golden State Warriors at 9. So we're looking at them potentially when LeBron and AD come back, they could be the 9th or 10th seed and be out of the playoff mix.
Antoine, you didn't curse on air, but you may well have, because you said something that I think we should beep out.